U.S. President Donald Trump intensifies pressure on Russia to begin peace talks with Ukraine as Putin dismisses U.S. threats to impose new sanctions. A Malawi woman raised by her grandmother finds satisfaction in rescuing abandoned and vulnerable children. And in our entertainment report, Roger Muntu features Congolese music star Nestelia Forrest and her themes of love, courage and gratitude. All this and much more coming up on today's Africa 54. U.S. President Donald Trump is traveling to hurricane-battered western North Carolina and wildfire-ravaged Los Angeles on Friday. It's the first trip of his second term, and the president is suggesting that he may withhold federal money from California unless it changes water policies. The White House has asked California congressional members, including Democrats, to hold a roundtable at an airplane hangar in Santa Monica during Trump's visit, according to the Associated Press. President Trump has laid out his approach to foreign investment to the world's largest gathering of global business leaders, offering investors a take-or-leave-it deal to build in the United States or face stiff tariffs. VOA White House correspondent Anita Powell has more.
President Donald Trump stood, virtually, before the prime movers of global industry and flourished his carrot-and-stick approach to foreign investors seeking a bite of the world's largest marketplace.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff.
Trump's message stood out from that of the other major powers at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, which stressed multilateralism at this annual international gathering on public-private cooperation, where top figures discuss global and regional challenges, including environmental and energy issues, geopolitical shocks, and how to improve living standards and stimulate growth. Trump called for a fair relationship with the world's second biggest economy, China.
Economic globalization is a result of social progress and technological advances, and it cannot be stopped. Protectionism does not solve problems, and trade wars help no one. We should take every chance to guide economic globalization and move it toward a better stage that is more vibrant, inclusive, and sustainable.
Analysts explain the logic behind Trump's onstage commitment to guarantee supplies of liquefied natural gas to Europe, a move some of them worry could push prices higher for Americans.
Eliminating European dependence on Russian oil and natural gas is a really important foreign policy objective for the president. I know he was very critical in the past, especially of Germany, for authorizing the Nord Stream 2 pipeline and of allowing an actual increase in German and European dependence on Russian fossil fuels to develop.
Those who heard Trump in person shared their impressions with reporters afterward. This year's event drew 3,000 attendees from more than 130 countries.
Well, I think that what we Europeans should take out of this is that we should strengthen our work to consolidate economic growth.
It shows one reason why he won the election, which is he speaks forcefully. You may not agree with everything, but he speaks with a great deal of force.
It's a vision solely centered on an American vision. There is nothing about the rest of the world.
Discussions about some of the world's most pressing issues continued through Friday in this tiny town in the Swiss Alps. Anita Powell, VOA News, Washington.
President Trump is also intensifying pressure on Russia to begin peace talks with Ukraine. So far, Russia has dismissed Trump's threat that the United States will impose new sanctions and tariffs on the Kremlin if it refuses to end the war. VOA's Veronica Balderas Iglesias has the details.
2,000 casualties injured by a Russian missile strike Thursday in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed the attack on his Telegram account and called for more sanctions against Russia. Newly sworn-in U.S. President Donald Trump renewed his calls Thursday for both parties to end the war.
Our efforts to secure a peace settlement between Russia and Ukraine are now hopefully underway. It's so important to get that done.
On Wednesday, Trump wrote on his Truth social media platform that while he does not want to hurt Russia, it must reach a peace deal or face, quote, high levels of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions on anything being sold by Russia to the United States. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov dismissed the threats Thursday.
We do not see any particular new elements here. We remain ready for dialogue.
The United States under Trump has leverage, some analysts say.
He could continue to provide arms to Ukraine, that he could move to take advantage of the $300 billion in frozen Russian central bank assets.
The best leverage that the U.S. has is that it can continue to hold together its European allies and bring along China.
At the World Economic Forum in Davos, NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte said the European Union must increase financial support for Ukraine now because a Russian victory would be even more costly to the alliance in the long run.
It will be trillions extra, because if Ukraine loses, then to restore the deterrence of the West, of NATO, again, it will be a much, much higher price than what we are contemplating at this moment in terms of spending up, of ramping up our spending and ramping up our industrial production.
Rutte also warned that a rushed but unfavorable peace deal for Ukraine would be geopolitically a, quote, big mistake. Veronica Valderas Iglesias, VOA News.
President Trump has declared a national emergency at the U.S. southern border with Mexico through executive orders. The president describes it as a response to an invasion. His administration has also reinstated the, quote, remain in Mexico policy, requiring applicants entering the U.S. from Mexico to stay there until their applications are processed. VOA's Paul Ndiho spoke with Pamela Asobo-Anchang, publisher and executive editor of Los Angeles-based Immigrant magazine, about the implications for immigrants.
There's never been in the history, I think, I don't know what president, what administration has ever enacted such a significant shift on the U.S. immigration policy as this new administration that's really, like you said, is targeting a broad spectrum of immigrant communities. I mean, from asylum seekers to refugees, undocumented individuals, even humanitarian parole beneficiaries. It's targeting children, families, victims of human trafficking are also caught up, and those, the TPS, those seeking temporary relief. The executive order is so broad that it's really just made immigration, it's just criminalizing immigration and dismantling all the protections that immigrants typically have.
To his credit, he ran on these issues. He told people that if I win, this is going to be one of the first things that I do. And to his supporters, this is the most important executive order of our time. And he's making his promise come true. So there is no question about that. When it comes to his supporters, his base, this is what they wanted to see.
Central American countries next the border, they've always known that they are the target. But someone called me who was black and said, oh, African Americans said, I didn't know Africans were affected. I said, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Even though we may not be, African or black immigrants may not be the target, the rules do not exclude us. However, this time around, actually, we are part of that target group. For example, like the birthright citizenship that is being targeted, that's a big one because people don't even understand. So let's say I'm going through the process of maybe filing for asylum. During that time, let's say I have a baby, I'm out of status, I'm not yet in status. That child does not benefit from American citizenship. It's as simple as that.
When you look at the southern border, clearly it's a crisis. People are coming in droves from all over the world, not just from South America. You have Chinese, you have Africans, you have Asians, every single person is trying to use the southern border to come to the United States. So as an expert in this space, what do you think the government should do or should have done?
We've been asking for comprehensive immigration reform. That's where the solutions lie. I'm not an advocate for, they're calling it an invasion. It's calling it an invasion. Okay, the southern border, people that are fleeing persecution, people that are fleeing drug cartels, people that are fleeing whatever situation. Like you said, everybody's coming through the southern border. Even Africans now somehow are finding themselves on the southern border. You have the Haitians, you have all these people that are coming through the southern border. I'm not for an open border policy, but I'm also for humane treatment of people that are on the border. So for example, this executive order is going to continue the remain in Mexico policy, which means that people will be stuck on the border, right? They won't be able to come in and get their due process like normally if you're a refugee or you're an asylee, you know, or you just want to get your case heard. So they're not gonna have that privilege. And now it's also doing something where it's like you have to, it's called a third country thing where you're going to have to maybe go to another country before you can come. Like, it's just a mess. I am not for open borders, but I am also not for inhumane treatment of people that are simply fleeing turmoil and all the atrocities that you can happen.
That was Pamela Asobo-Anchang, publisher and executive editor of the Los Angeles-based immigrant magazine, speaking to VOA's Paul Ndiho. Immigration reform has long been a thorny issue for many U.S. administrations, dating back more than 100 years. It is something that both Democratic and Republican leaders have to struggle with. Still to come, our entertainment report will have Congolese music star Nestilia Forrest showcasing her latest music with themes of love, courage, and gratitude. Stay tuned.
United States, the 60th presidential inauguration ceremony was held just a few days ago on January 20th, 2025, with President Donald J. Trump taking the oath as the 47th president. This week on Our Voices, we discuss the highlights of this ceremony as well as the hopes and expectations for women and girls in different spheres of life in America and around the world. Join the conversation each week right here on Our Voices.
You're watching VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. Thank you so much for joining us each week right here on Red Carpet. We bring you the latest in
In other news, panic is spreading in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's main city as M23 rebels steadily inch closer to Goma, home to around 2 million people, and seizing a nearby town as they battle the Congolese army. Explosions were heard in the city's distant outskirts Thursday, and hundreds of wounded civilians were brought in to the main hospital from the area of the fighting. In a report released Friday, the United Nations Children's Fund says at least 242 million children in 85 countries had their schooling interrupted last year because of heat waves, cyclones, flooding and other extreme weather. Low-income nations in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia were hit especially hard. UNICEF says heat waves were, quote, the predominant climate hazard, shattering schools last year. And Kenya's Chief Justice Martha Koome is raising concerns Friday over the withdrawal of her security personnel, including officers from the Judicial Policing Unit. Kenya's Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says the Chief Justice went, quote, too public with the matter. A mother in Malawi knows what it's like to feel alone in the world. She was abandoned by her mother at age 6 and raised by her grandmother. She now rescues abandoned babies, vulnerable children, and teen mothers in her homeland. Chimwemwe Padata has this report.
Tusaiwe Munkodia was left by her mother at the age of 6. Her grandmother raised her, but she never forgot what it felt like to live without a mother. She's now trying to help other people who have been abandoned or marginalized.
We provide shelter, food, like any type of support that a mother or a father provides to their children. That's what we do.
Munkonja founded You Are Not Alone, Oyana, on the outskirts of Mzuzu, Malawi's northern region, providing care and support to about 200 children. Her organization also offers a home to abandoned or orphaned children, some with disabilities and older adults. She is also building a technical college where young mothers can continue their education after completing secondary school.
We want our children to go to college, but if they struggle to go to some colleges because of maybe a disability or a challenge, we're building a technical college for them so that they can be able to learn a skill that can support them to be independent.
16-year-old Deborah Magarasi is an orphan from Chew district, about 500 kilometers away from the center. She has spent 6 months at Yana.
There were some problems that I have been meeting when I was in my home village. I was lack school fees. So my mom and dad have passed away. Only one person I have in my life is only my grandmama.
Some community members around Mzuzu say the Yana initiative has had a positive impact.
We have seen that the improvement now is going on forward, because we have seen the children that are learning, we have got nursery school. I said these are the things now we are benefiting here.
Malawi currently has one of the highest teenage pregnancy rates in sub-Saharan Africa at 29%, according to the UN. Lack of parental care and support is driving many children to the streets, says Emma Gadia, Executive Director of the Malawi Human Rights Resource Center.
There are some people who have children who they don't take care of. That is what is causing most of these problems that we are seeing. Fathers who are absent, even mothers who may want to be absent.
In recent years, Malawi has passed several laws to protect children, including the National Strategy to End Child Marriage in 2024. Government officials say they have also introduced a parenting program to educate parents on children's rights. Chimwemwe Padata, VOA News, Mzuzu, Malawi.
U.S. President Donald Trump is repeating his assertion that American control of Greenland is vital for, quote, international security. His comments have alarmed Denmark, which owns the Arctic island. As Henry Ridgell reports, Copenhagen has admitted failing to invest in Greenland security amid growing threats from Russia and China.
Denmark's Arctic Command oversees Greenland's security from the capital Nuuk, a small military outpost responsible for a vast territory of some 2.1 million square kilometres. Greenland's capital Nuuk clings to the edge of a frozen wilderness, but the storm clouds of geopolitical tensions are building over this remote island. The United States sees Greenland as strategically vital.
The shortest route for Russian missiles from, towards the US is via the North Pole, via Greenland.
That's a big one.
President Trump wants to take control of Greenland from Denmark, accusing Copenhagen of failing to secure the island.
You have Russian boats all over the place. You have China boats all over the place, warships. And they can't maintain it.
Denmark's military capabilities on Greenland consist of 4 aging naval patrol vessels, a surveillance plane and dog sled patrols, according to Reuters. Copenhagen plans to invest in new drones, ships and personnel, and the upgrading of an airbase to handle F-35 fighter jets. But ministers admit past failings.
We have neglected for many years to make the necessary investments in our ships, in the aircraft that will help to monitor our kingdom, and that is what we are now trying to do something about.
The US military has been present in Greenland since World War II. Its Pitufik space base hosts around 200 personnel, alongside missile warning, defense and space surveillance systems.
And the big question is then whether the US wants to enhance that presence, perhaps to be able to do other types of military operations in that area. The Danish government has been trying to touch on that word control that Trump uses, which is a very ambiguous term. What does control mean? Does it mean owning a piece of territory, or does it mean having a certain amount of military equipment on that territory?
Russia, meanwhile, has invested heavily in its Arctic military footprint. Its Nagaskoye airbase hosts nuclear-capable strategic bombers, missile and surveillance systems. Russian nuclear submarines patrol the Arctic seas, while a growing fleet of nuclear-powered icebreakers projects the Kremlin's power. China and Russia have conducted joint military drills in the Arctic.
There's definitely a threat, especially from Russian military capacities in that region. And the NATO countries are right now moving to increase their capacity.
Before Trump's inauguration, the American embassy in Denmark said there are no plans to expand the US military presence in Greenland. That could change under the new US president. Denmark and Greenland are braced for political storms ahead. Henry Ridgwell, VOA News, Nuuk, Greenland.
It's Friday and it's time for Entertainment Report, and here's the latest with Roger Muntu, the host of VOA's popular RM show. Hello Roger, this week is all about the vibrant Congolese artist Nestilia Forrest.
That's right, Esther. We had the honor of welcoming an exceptional artist, a true star of Congolese music, Nestilia Forrest. Coming from the Republic of Congo, she presented her latest work, Lusol, a captivating 6-track EP where she explores themes like love, courage, and gratitude while honoring local languages and diverse rhythm. Let's take a look of our interviews and we'll be right back.
I don't know how to say it in English,
Yeah.
but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Because in
You're
my
speaking
country,
great English. You're speaking better English than Jean-Louis, I can tell you that. Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's le quotidien, comme on appelle
Yeah.
le quotidien.
Yeah. What's your
Everyday
life?
The everyday life. The
Yeah.
everyday life.
Yes.
So always seeing things. So I'm about, can I write the song about this? Love and some issues.
Yes,
Yeah,
issues
there
that
is-
every day
Yeah.
the
The
people experience
every day.
Yes,
the
the
people
people experience.
experience every day. Okay, wow, that's what Lusol is all about, right? Wow, that's great.
It's a mix. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mix. So each track of this EP has a meaning.
Of course.
Yes.
It's so deep.
Yes.
Every track
Everything's
is so deep.
so deep.
Because I always sing.
Mm-mm.
That's how I.
Yes,
I always
perfect.
sing in my language, in my mother language.
Yeah. And your mother language is what?
Bembe.
Bembe.
And
Okay.
I also use
Yes.
some. I think I can call it African languages.
Correct.
So I love African languages. The
Yes.
reason why I am always mixed it.
Right.
Oh,
yes. We have 6 of your tracks.
Yeah.
What songs you want to perform here today? 2 songs, so Michelle can get them
2
ready.
songs?
Yeah, you choose whichever you want.
Okay.
You're the boss
alright.
tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me. Chocolat.
Chocolat. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So chocolat. She's gonna
Chocolate.
No.
chocolate.
Chocolate. Oh, okay.
Chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. And
I would like to sing a slow song.
slow songs, perfect.
Ntari.
Ntari. We're gonna
I'm
get
ready.
chocolate. You always ready. You know,
ready. Ready to
that's
go.
something I don't understand about Nestle. Since she's ready. She's like, no, it's like a kid in a candy
but
store, man.
she's a performer. You
She's
can
a
tell
performer.
that.
Yes.
You know who Nestle remind me?
Who?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
thank you.
When Michael Jackson doesn't enter, she's like, oh yeah, we just drink, man. We just. When you say Michael, go on the stage. Nelson, you know I'm right. You know I'm right. That guy's always like, oh yeah, we just talk and drink milk. That's all. We just...
You do his voice so well, man.
Oh, so well.
Yeah, if I told him, I thought he was.
Oh, come on, stop it.
I'm telling you the
Stop it. Stop it, Nestolia. Don't say that.
Nestolia Forest.
Mind your business, please. Keep yo.
That was some workout, man. Through her powerful voice and profound lyrics, this artist continues to captivate and inspire fans across Africa and beyond. Esther, back to you.
Roger, what not to love about that? The girl is really talented. That's what we needed for Friday. Be sure to tune into our entertainment reports every Friday right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a great weekend.